Good morning. Welcome to the last session for this course, Purposive Communication. But before we proceed, we still have 3 minutes to give you reminders. Since this will be the last one, what would you do afterwards? Before anything else, I would like to acknowledge the virtual presence of our speaker for this morning, Ms. Jennifer Palaganas, and one of our advisors or teaching assistants, Mr. Raymar Madrid. Good morning, ma'am and sir. So first things first, all right? Please hit the chat box and comment what were the activities that you're supposed to do apart from the webinar sessions or the webinar session reflections that were given to you by your advisors. Miss Allison, one of our purposive communication teachers as well, reminded you or gave you a vlog. Okay, so I'm making an announcement that will be your final project for this course, all right? Let me say that again. The vlog that was given by Miss Allison would be your final project, so that will be individual. I have scanned the Google Classroom and there was a student who asked how long should be the vlog. So minimum of 3 minutes, maximum of 5 minutes. Please take note of the time. Again, minimum of 3 minutes, maximum of 5 minutes. So we don't need to tell you that you have to observe, right? Cultural differences, respect, and tolerate, for example, the things that like the text or let's say the words that you'll be using, since you have learned from teacher Misty and of course Miss Jennifer and more today from our speakers about what to place, what right words, for example, the tone and the like for your vlog. There's a question coming from Rochelle May. What about yung mga nakapass na po? That would be fine. So if you have already passed, then those who pass before this day, then you will no longer be part of the guidelines that I'm making, like the length, for example. But I don't think you have made that long vlog. So if you have made 6 minutes, then so be it. But for those who are not yet done, then you may follow, or not you may, you should follow the guidelines. For those who have already passed, if you would like to resubmit, then why not? Okay? Yes, that's it. Okay, that's okay. All right, now let's move on. Apart from that, you were also required to watch a YouTube video of, if I'm not mistaken, an influential speaker. Then you have to respond to several questions, right? Guide questions. So you also have to follow that. So after the talk of Miss Jennifer today, and then after your exam on Thursday, Mr. Ivan, your advisor, has already announced that your exam would be at 9 o'clock and the coverage will be the talk of Miss Misty on cultural setting of communication. So the talk of Miss Jennifer starting last week, including this one, would be the coverage for your final exam on December 27, if I'm not mistaken, the last week of December. May I see a heart sign from everyone if that's clear so far? Okay, thank you. And we're still waiting for the rest of the students. We are now 309. Mr. Raymar, kindly help me admit participants or students. Thank you. Since this will be the last, it's already 11:01. Ms. Jennifer, can you give me another minute? So this time, I would like to know just a quick recap of our discussion from last week with Ms. Jennifer. What was the topic given, or what was the topic discussed? Hit the chat box, please. Or let's have Mr. Tristan Molato to unmute and respond. Mr. Molato, what was the topic? At wala na siya. How about Kimberly Oh yeah, go ahead, Tristan. What was the topic?
Communication aid and strategies po.
Correct, very good. Kimberly Mundala. So, according to Miss Jennifer, ano daw dapat, what kind of technology should be used when it comes to certain tasks given to students, or what technology should you use to reinforce your communication? Ms. Mundala, Ms. Jennifer presented several technology, but should we use all of them, or should we use one, or what? Okay, you will be muted now. I mean unmuted. Go.
We should use all of them.
Whenever applicable, right? Or the best fit technology, of course, appropriate to the task given. All right, finally, Mr. Pablo, let's summarize. What did you learn from last meeting from Miss Jennifer? Please unmute. Apart from smiling. Go
Sir,
on.
pardon. Can you
Okay, you're pardoned. What was the lesson that you've learned from the talk of Miss Jennifer last week?
ano sir, biglaan.
Oh, all right. Just type it then. Thank you. So, Mr. Raymond, any additional announcements, sir? Mr. Raymond?
Yes, sir.
Or we'll just have it later after the talk. Okay. So without much ado, it's 11:03. Again, let's welcome back with a virtual club, the one and only. Of course, my collaborator for my dissertation. I would like to thank her, Ma'am Jennifer. And at the same time, my fellow researcher and co-educator, Miss Jennifer Palaganas, to talk about communication purposes or communication for various purposes. Once again, Miss Jennifer Palaganas. Good morning, ma'am.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Sir Virgo. Thank you to all of those who are here once again. And I'm very happy to be back and share what I have learned and what I have experienced so far with communication. Okay, so today, since it's already our second and last session, we have to dwell deeper why we have communication in the first place. Okay, but we're going to have a little bit of a twist today. Okay, why? Okay, so let me start with this one. Okay, so what can you see on the screen? Okay, so you may just chat your answers. Okay, so if I ask you, oh, there's an argument, it's a clip, okay, it's a GIF. Okay, if I ask you, where do we often hear this line? It's not you, it's me. Okay, where do you hear this line? Okay, it says here movie, argument, drama. Okay. Oh, okay. Let's face the reality. Okay. This line, it's not you, it's me. Correct. Okay, thank you, Bridget. I already saw the answer. Okay, it's actually usually shown in breakup stories that we watch. Okay, we often hear this in real life, and believe it, this also happens in the teacher in the classroom. How is that possible? Okay, you may ask me how. Well, it's me, the teacher. Okay, so even though I'm your speaker for this morning, I regard myself as your teacher this time. So it's me, your teacher, who gives you the discussion. Okay, it's me who brings you knowledge, and most obviously, it's me who talks most of the time. Am I correct? Okay, so this time, let's do the reverse. So, what do I mean by reverse? Okay, it's you, it's not me. Okay, so this time it's not going to be me, but it's you. Okay, so let's make our last session together a bit more memorable and meaningful. So this time I would like to hear more of you than me. Okay, so are you ready? What are the things that you will expect? Okay, so since you really pleased me and impressed me last time with your responses, I would like to hear more from you this time. Okay, and I would like to see and hear your golden voices, hear your thoughts, hear your youthful insights. Of course, I'm still a part of the youth, but still, okay, but still I want to hear from you. Okay, so let me start with a reality that we face as of this time. Okay, so it says here how the pandemic changed most of our lives. Do you agree or disagree? Okay, so let's try to evaluate. How were we for the past months, for the past weeks, or even years? Okay, so maybe we have to consider that though we are at home, okay, there are perks at home, especially at home. What are these? We don't have to wake up early. We can wake up 10 minutes before our class. Am I correct? We can also do our asynchronous tasks in the middle of the night. So let's say at 12 noon or at 1 a.m. Our teacher wouldn't know that. Okay, and of course, we also have to face the fact that this kind of shift that we underwent because of this pandemic somehow made us disorganized. Okay, can you give me a thumbs up if you agree with me that somehow this pandemic made us disorganized? Correct. Okay. So if before we have our routine, we have our way of waking up ourselves, there is our body clock, okay? This time it's a little bit different. But let's try if you really agree or disagree with me. So let's have a short quiz, okay? So all you have to do is give me a thumbs up. Okay, thumbs up. Okay, if you say yes to the situation or to the question that I will ask you, and a sad face if you say no or if you disagree. Okay, are you ready? Okay, so let's start with the first question. Who misses the face-to-face classes? Who misses the face-to-face classes? Oh, okay. So I can see a thumbs up here. Okay. So I'll repeat. You just give me a thumbs up or a sad face if you thumbs up if you agree. A sad face if you do not agree with me. Okay. Next one. Number 2. Who wakes up later than usual because of binge watching or playing online games until the wee of the night? Okay, so there are thumbs up here. Okay, so I think I'm also one of those. I can watch an entire season, an entire series for one sitting. Actually, I just finished Money Heist yesterday. So just imagine I can finish that long and sitting for long hours. Okay. Next, third question. Okay. Okay. Who prefers to hang out with friends and do later or do projects later? I'll repeat. Who prefers to hang out with friends and do projects later? So you prefer, okay, some would say yes, okay, some disagreed, okay, so somehow we are still in the middle of changes, okay. Let's have the last one, okay. Who would agree with me that the one or the struggle or the challenge that we are experiencing now is not only language barrier but also communication barrier? Okay. Okay. So, in this pandemic, okay, we have to face it. Okay. It's not just about language barrier. Okay. We also encounter communication barriers. So, remember when I said that the pandemic somehow drastically changed our lives? Okay. So, when our lives change, we also expect that our communication also changed. Okay, what does that mean? We were left with no choice but to communicate with our family, friends, and even teachers. Okay, online most of the time. Although we are a little bit shy, we are a little bit we are having our apprehensions when it comes to showing showing our faces, okay, still we don't have any other choice but to continue our lifestyle and our education online, okay. And the most thing, or the maybe the most challenging one, okay, very good. We learn to stay at home, open new opportunities, and realize some things important. Okay, so with the ones that I discussed last time, yes, we know very well that there are presentation tools that can help us. There's Prezi, there's Canva, there is MS Word, MS PowerPoint rather. Okay, these technology, or these aids, or tools and technology are not always favorable to us, okay. There are still parts that we, even though we try to learn it from YouTube, or maybe we try to ask people how to help us edit, still it's somehow at some point it's beyond our capacity. Okay, so the problem there is, if it's beyond our capacity, how are we now going to deliver, or how are we going to carry that information that we want others to have purposively, okay. So if we cannot pass this information, sadly we defeat the purpose, or the very purpose of communication, okay. So if we cannot really point, okay, if we cannot bring what we want to really say to people, somehow the purpose of communication is now on the rocks, okay. So it's not really doing what it should do. Okay, and it said, okay, so Rochelda said here, the sad part on online, some people misunderstood what we are saying. Very good, or explaining, okay. So actually, even though I'm giving an hour to share with you, still I can sense that maybe it's still not enough. It's still better if it's face to face, okay. Now, here's one reality that we have to accept, okay. Regardless of our setup, okay, so even though we are doing online, we should still know boundaries, okay. When I say boundaries, there is still boundary from what we do at home, like chores, like how we take care of our family members, our siblings, or taking our medications, for example, okay. So if you compare that one, our lifestyle at home is now different. So where should you really mark that demarcation? Where should you really mark that difference? Okay, so the work at home and living at home are now intertwined, okay. But then in terms of communication, there is still a boundary between work and workplace, and of course school. Okay, so that is how we are going to highlight our discussion or sharing this morning. But before everything else, okay, let's go back. What are the purposes of communication, since our class is called purposive communication? Okay, what are the purposes? But before you answer, what we will do is a little bit different, okay. I will show you a video clip, and from that video clip I want you to show me what purpose is being shown. Okay, so let's do the other way around, because I know you have learned to blah blah, to blah blah, to blah, there, so to understand each other, to communicate. But let's see if you can really identify if I'm going to show you examples. Okay, so this is how we will do. I will show you the video clip, and then if I don't see anyone answering, I will randomly call anyone. Okay, so I hope you're all there. Okay, so let us start. I hope my sound is not too loud this time. So let's begin.
I'm Lisa Gonzalez, the Times 1058. That breaking news comes in the COVID pandemic. The first case of the Omicron variant in the United States has been detected here in California. And according to Dr. Fauci, the person was a traveler from South Africa. The case was sequenced by UC San Francisco. The person was fully vaccinated. So far, their contacts have tested negative, and that person is experiencing just mild symptoms. But Omicron is here in the United States, in California.
Okay, wow. This is very quick. Okay, yes, very good. So this type of information or communication that you have just seen is to inform. Okay, the first purpose of communication is, of course, to inform everyone. And as of this time, I think this was aired December 2 or 3, if I'm not mistaken. There was the first case of Omicron, so please take care, everyone. You know, COVID still lingers. Okay, very good. Well done, Mr. Pavo. Okay, let's continue.
Varias personas degustaron un menú cocinado sobre el calor del asfalto.
Para llamar a la conciencia sobre los efectos que provoca nuestro ecosistema el calentamiento global.
Si no cuidamos un poco más nuestros bosques, nuestros hijos, nuestros nietos tendrán un mundo muy difícil y se va a cocinar así. Vamos a estar viviendo en el infierno.
Okay, so I can already see some responses here. So there is to give awareness, to educate, to promote, okay, to raise awareness. Okay, there was a particular line there. Okay, maybe let me just highlight that part. There. If we continue to not care about our forests, our children and grandchildren, okay, mentioned here, will live in a very difficult world. Okay, in that particular lines, okay, that I showed you, what is being shown here? What kind of there, okay, I already saw it. Okay, so what kind of emotion or what kind of purpose of communication is shown? I already saw from Mr. Wait, because, okay, I'm sorry, I cannot mention your name anymore, but I saw the answer. Okay, definitely, communication also has the purpose to persuade. Okay, so it's not just to give us information about global warming, but it's also asking us to do something about it. So very good for your responses. You really impressed me a lot. Okay, let's move on to the last purpose.
Leave immediately and keep her off. U.S. military aircraft, Papa 8 Alpha. This is Chinese Yun's Reef. China has sovereignty of the national islands, including Yun's Reef and its adjacent waters. Leave immediately and keep far off so as to avoid any misunderstanding.
It's a routine occurrence for us on these flights. It happens throughout the flight where they come over and then we just go back with our standard response, and it really has no effect on any operations or anything we do.
Philippine military aircraft, I'm warning you again. Leave immediately, or you will bear forward responsibility for all the consequences.
Two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine vehicles moving. Still looks like nothing along the runway. No aircraft present.
It's making sure that we maintain the rights that we have as a military aircraft to fly in international airspace, maintain our presence in the area, and show that we're not worried about the buildup that's happening, and that we are going to continue to stay down here in the South China Sea.
Okay, so the last video is a little bit tricky. Okay, why? I can see the answers here already, that it's for us to be warned, to give maybe some information, and then there's also claiming. Okay, very good. I actually saw the answer. So our third purpose is to argue. Remember when the Americans, when the Americans mentioned whether we like it or not, this is we have to be, or we have to take part in this dispute. Okay, so eventually when we say purpose of communication, it's not just to inform, it's not just to explain, it's not just to maybe persuade, it's also to argue. So this is a very controversial issue here in the Philippines as of this time, although this video was already taken back in 2017. Could you imagine? Years have passed, but still the problem when it comes to this particular territorial dispute is still present. Okay, so that means to say there is still there are more maybe opposing sides. Expect that Filipinos would definitely defend that it's supposed to be ours, but other nationalities like Chinese nationalities, most probably they would claim that it's theirs. So as a Filipino, even though I am for Filipino, I'm still there on the side, where should this land really be? Okay, so again, the three major purposes of communication are to inform, to persuade, and to argue. So without all of those, we will not be able to reflect, okay, what form of communication are we really going for, what kind of purpose, and with that purpose, we have to think also, what is the subject that we will inform, or what is the subject of our information that we want to share. Okay, so in the first, in these three videos, we have seen a very wide array of subjects, a very wide array of topics that are talking about. But then, if you can see, it also varies when it comes to approach. Okay, it also varies when it comes to the audience, because when we pick the proper communication, okay, the proper purpose of communication, we are not just going to consider the subject, but we will also consider the audience. And this is where the variety comes in, okay? That is why we have communication for various purposes. So most probably you are very aware that academic purpose is somehow you're doing it already. But what are work purposes? So this time, I will allow you to speak your mind based on the words academic purpose and work purpose. What are the differences or similarities that you can provide, or even definitions? A quick definition on these two words, okay? So let's begin. What is, or what do you understand when we say academic purpose and work purpose? Okay, so I will be waiting for responses.
All right, Ma'am Jennifer, the students can raise their respective hands virtually so that I can unmute you because they cannot unmute on their own.
Okay. Thank you, Sir Virgo.
Those who would be responding will already be exempted from the reflection activity to be given by your respective advisors. So you have to recite now. Thank you. It would be best if you would really recite and unmute so that we could hear your voices. Thank you.
Okay, while waiting for most of your responses, I have already seen here academic purpose is about studying. One of the biggest differences is that academic writing is done mostly to showcase your research and expertise in a specific area or topic of interest, while professional writing is often done to influence or convince someone of something. And then similarities, learning. Academic purpose is about studying, while work purpose is about profession or occupation. Work purpose is more about in paper works, okay? You are giving me a good insight on this one, okay? And you are giving me a good hint on what academic purpose is and what work purposes are, okay? Simply, okay? Let's not make our lives complicated. It's already complicated, so let's make our lives easy. So when we say academic purpose, that means to say that particular product or work that you are going to produce or output or requirement, it's basically for the academe. Okay, so it's somehow it's for you to pass a subject, it's somehow for you to demonstrate your learning, or it's also somehow that you can show what you are capable of in school, okay? That's why it is called academic purposes. Okay, very good. I can already see here that it's school-based. It has, okay, one of your goal and show your daily life. Okay, very good. So in order for you to be enhanced in that particular field, so let's say you're a nursing major or a criminology major or an English major, definitely you would know what kinds of tasks that you have to do. So literary analysis or even making lab reports, okay? So those are called academic purposes. When we say work purposes, on the other hand, okay, it's more on doing the type or the product for the company or for the profession that we are in. Okay, so example, yes, okay, job related. So if I am a teacher, what are the things that I need to produce? So example, I need to come up, okay, teaches us. Okay, so I have to come up with a lesson plan, I have to come up with quizzes, I have to come up with assessments, okay? So all of these ones, although they are somehow school related, but from my perspective, since I am already a working individual, definitely my purpose is for work. Okay, so that is where the line comes in between academic and work purposes. Okay, so the basic idea here is think where you are, think what you do for in life. Are you a student and are you doing that requirement because you are tasked by your instructor, or are you in a workplace where your supervisor or maybe your dean or maybe your boss, okay, asked you to come up with something. Okay, so I'll repeat, the basic point here is think where your location is and what you do for that particular task. Okay, so that's basically the difference between academic and work purposes. But let me just share with you this very short improvised Venn diagram. I call it improvised because I cannot draw the lines anymore. Okay, so academic purpose, of course, those are your personal essays, research papers, analysis, okay, and argument. So this is with regard to the tasks your instructor gives you. Okay, take note, it says here that your academic purpose still includes your paragraphs. Okay, so somehow these paragraphs can be transformed to essays. So we have your thesis statement, body, conclusion, and look at this one. The purpose is to expand on an idea or make observations about human experience. So once again, it's not that you will learn about these concepts and then keep them in your notebook and then that's it. Okay, it's still about how you are going to expand and most probably apply what you have learned in class. Okay, very good. Now, what about work purpose? Let's jump on the third column first. Okay, so work purpose, an example of this one would be your memos, requests, business or technical reports, okay, incident reports, or even letters. So letters such as resignation letter or job application letters, okay, these are considered purpose or work purpose. So if you look at this one, it also has paragraphs, okay, although for this work purpose, it's more directed. What do I mean by directed? It has a specific audience, and then most probably that specific audience is contained with a limited time. So make sure that the product that you will present when it comes to work purpose, it's direct to the point and it's practical. Okay, and then it has here headings, itemized lists, boldface type, and then graphics. So there is again a difference between the two, and generally this is technical or business related. But let's look at the similarities. So we cannot totally separate the two because there is still a linkage between these two purposes of communication. Okay, so those are the similarities. So again, you have to make sure that your point is still coherent and well organized. Okay, so you don't just come up with a proposal and then already the solution, but what made you go to that proposal anyway? Okay, next one. You have to rely on a process of thinking, okay, basically, that is needed in anything that we do. And of course, the purpose is to inform and persuade. Okay, so I'm happy to see a lot of your responses that you already have an idea of what academic and work purposes are. Okay, so let me just give you a quick example on what an example of work purpose is. Okay, so I started with this because maybe this is the part where you are not so familiar with. Okay, so if I ask you what is the subject of this material, okay, so it says here mitral valve prolapse, what you should know. Okay, so again, what is the subject of this example? Okay, Mr. Neil said it's about biology. What else? Particularly, what kind of correct? Okay, thank you, Rochella. Okay, so it's the heart. Now, let's look at this one. Again, if you're going to browse, you don't need to read everything what is written. Okay, let's go to the second one. For whom was the document written? Okay, who do you think is the intended audience? Okay, so you can see here for us, let's be specific. Medical students, the reader, who else in medical fields. Take note, look at the last paragraph of this material. Your doctor can find mitral valve prolapse during a regular exam. Okay, very good. People with heart disease. So this is the one that I am saying. So when we say the communication is for work purpose, let us make sure that it is something that is understandable right away to the people. So in this case, our subject are our patients. Okay. How is the document written? Okay, so if you look at the flow of our document, how is it written? You can also mention if there are features or styles that you can see. Are there bold letters? Are there italicized words? Okay, correct, Mr. Thank you, Mr. Samuel. So, bold, italicized. Okay, so when we say work purpose, because you want to highlight, okay, you want to highlight a particular part of that document, it's very necessary that we make use of these features so that when you are asked how do you describe the writer's style, of course, it's very direct. Okay, now let's move on to the second one. So this time it's a sample text for academic purpose. Okay, so we have a topic here, Broken Heart by Jessica S. Stewart. Okay, so you can just read briefly. Okay. So this broken heart passage or maybe example is by a writer. Okay, we have Jessica S. Stewart here, and then the speaker or the narrator in the story is talking about Danny, who happened to be the big brother. Apparently, Danny was addicted to drugs. Okay, that led him to be absent in most of the events in the life of the character. Okay, so with that recount of events from our character, okay, if we ask again, what is the subject? Still, you can already see here as the title, heart. Okay, so if earlier we're talking about the actual heart, this time we're talking about the connotative heart. So the heart that refers to the ability for us to feel. Okay, so it's a letter. Okay, so for whom was the document written? Okay, this time, if the document earlier is for patients, this time who do you think will be our audience? Okay, it's a diary of hers. People who read, very good. So we know very well, okay, very good. We know very well that it's intended for a general audience this time. Okay, and how is the document written? Okay, so again, earlier we mentioned there is the use of boldface and then italics, but this time, okay, how is our document written? Okay, there's double space, very good. What else? It's articulated, very good. What else? What can you notice in the, yes, okay, thank you, Mr. Kenneth. Okay, the document is written in paragraphs. So basically, this is where the purpose is different again, because most probably this was written for a class. Okay, this was written for a creative writing class to be specific. And if we are asked to describe the writer's style, definitely it's a little bit more of intimate, okay, or maybe informal, because it's more of personal. Okay, actually this is an example of what we call a personal essay. Okay, so from our two examples, you can now see that the purpose of academic and work purpose, okay, vary according to what you are asked to do. Okay, so if you remember last time, I mentioned that if there is a barrier when it comes to language, most probably we can do or we can make use of communication aids. But what if the barrier this time is communication? So that is already a big problem, because if we cannot really bring, or if we cannot really explain what we want to say to our audience, there would be a problem when it comes to meeting our purpose. Okay, so yes, we were already able to mention that in order for us to establish our relationship, or maybe our purpose to our audience, we have to make sure that we make use of the right strategy, communication strategy, and somehow we boil down to the idea that social media is the easiest way we can communicate. But then if you recall, I mentioned you should always consider what best fits your purpose. Okay, and at the same time, it also applies in the purpose of academic or work. Okay, so if your purpose is for work purpose, I don't think you need to make use of TikTok there, or you don't need to make use of maybe Facebook. Okay, but if let's say it's marketing strategy, why not? You can go for those. But if you are going to report to your supervisor about your sales, okay, maybe you don't need to make use of TikTok there. Okay, so that is where we can sense that there is really a line between academic and work purpose. Okay, so this is now where our communication, or where I can hear you more. Okay, so it says here, what you call it. Okay, so part one of our task, you will be given different situations. So what will you do? You have to identify what material. Okay, remember I gave you some examples earlier. So for academic, we have the essays, researches. For the work, we have reports. Okay, so this time I want you to help me identify what material is needed and why you think this serves the purpose of the communication. Let's begin. Situation 1. Your dean asked you to think of a topic that will serve as your ticket to graduation. You are required to apply the scientific method, where you need to observe, collect information, investigate, analyze, and interpret. What should you write? Very good. It's a research. Wow, you're good at this one. Okay, let's move on to our second situation. Okay, as a final requirement in purposive communication class, you are tasked to highlight how a student like you can bring change to your fellow students. You may choose any of the topics. So, environmental protection, responsible citizenship, poverty reduction, or good governance. Now, question, what output will you make? Okay, essay. Oh, I'm happy to see that there was one who mentioned research, and then there's also a report. Very good. Okay, so when it comes to these kinds of tasks, remember when I emphasize on multimodal text, you're not just confined in writing an essay. If you can make a report, if you can make a narrative, if you can make a presentation, if you can make a blog or a vlog, why not? Okay, so as long as you know the purpose of your task, definitely your output will be successful. Okay, very good. Now, let's move on to our third situation. Okay, you finally received your diploma of Bachelor of Arts or Science in, so you just fill it out. So if it's psychology or nursing or English, okay? Now, it is time for you to look for a place to apply what you have learned. Okay, what are the things you need? Very good. Resume. What else? CV, okay? So your curriculum vitae is the more comprehensive comprehensive version of your resume. I also see the application letter, very good. Diploma, what else? Okay, transcript of records. Okay, credentials, very good. Okay, one more thing, certificates matter. Okay, because those certificates will also serve as evidence that you have okay, very good, that you are capable or you are credible to apply for that particular position. Okay, let's move on to our last situation. Situation 4. Your residence is a bit far from the workplace, causing you to incur frequent tardiness from work. The company has a policy on attendance, and you have been warned by the Human Resource Department. Unfortunately, the terrible traffic caught you with a 15-minute delay. Before you even took your seat, the HRD gave you a call. What do you expect to receive? Very good. Thank you, Miss Hazel. You are expected to receive a memo. Okay, that memo telling that maybe that is your last warning, that you should not incur another tardiness. Okay. Okay, so that was easy, right? Okay, let's have a bit more challenging task. Let's move on to part 2. Okay, so this time, let's exercise your speaking skills. So, I would like you to unmute this time. Okay, I would like you to unmute, and how will you do this? You will be shown different pictures. So, all you have to do is follow the instructions given in those particular pictures. Okay, so I hope you are ready. Let's begin. Picture 1. As a requirement in English class, create a story. Okay, I would like to hear from okay, there's already a comment here. Maybe this time I would like to call out. Okay, maybe the one who is hiding from me. So I will just based on your name. Oh, okay. I like the smile of this lady. Okay. So, may I hear from Miss Rhea May Hulakdon? Okay. Rhea May Hulakdon. Okay. Are you there? Remember, your task is to create a story, not describe. I'll repeat, you have to create a story, not describe. So, Miss Rhea May Hulakdon, are you there?
Rhea, you may now unmute. I think she doesn't want to answer, Miss Jennifer.
Okay, no problem. I
Here.
think I will. Yes, sir. Oh,
Miss
so there's
Apilada.
someone. Eliza Apilada, you may unmute and then start sharing your story.
Okay, I'll try po to create a story about this picture. So one day, let us call him Mark kasi sikat po ang Mark ngayon. So one day, a bored Mark is walking down the street. He is looking to his cell phone, feeling very bored, like saying, "What should I do today? What should I post in my Instagram? My Instagram is getting so boring." Then one day, while walking in the street, he passed these many cobras, or what you call these snakes. Then he came with the solution. Oh, I will going to take a selfie with this snake so that I will become famous on my Instagram. Then he get his phone, laid down with the snake and take a selfie with it. Then he will going to post it in his Instagram, hoping for more followers. And hoping that other people will create a meme out of this. So that's my story for this.
Okay. Thank you very much, Miss Eliza or Alyssa. Okay, that was a very entertaining story. And may I see some emoji from your schoolmates? How would you react to her story? Yes, okay. I like her story. It's simple but it's catchy and actually it's the reality. You know, we really do these kinds of impossible things just for us to get a lot of followers. Okay, very good. That was an easy one, right? Let's have a little more challenging one. Okay, this time you're a news writer. Okay, make a headline. I think from our last session, Sir Virgo was able to mention an advertisement for your school paper. Okay, so this time, what kind or what headline will you make about this picture? Okay, so let's have again any volunteer first. You want me to call your names? Why not? Okay. Oh, there's someone here. From Miss Castañeda, Mona Lisa. Go ahead.
A hero in a disaster, ma'am.
Wow. Okay, I like that. It's simple, but we can see that he's a hero. Okay. So let's imagine that this person is going down, not going up. Okay. So simple again, but it's creative. Okay. Let's move on to our last. Okay. Food is scarce in your area. Propose a research topic. I'll repeat. Give me a research topic, not a research title, but when it comes to the problem in food scarcity, okay, what kind of research topic do you think you can come up with? Okay, while waiting for the others to raise their hands. Okay, so there are already suggestions here. Poverty, yes. Lack of food, how to deal with it. Okay, thank you very much, Miss Kia. Sorry, I cannot read the entire name. Okay, so how do we deal with lack of food? Okay, so I can accept. Sorry, Mister. Okay, thank you for correcting me. Okay, so you can already have several ideas on what you can do in order to address food scarcity. Okay.
Jennifer, we have Mr. Basatan.
Oh, sure, Mr.
Nexus.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Nexus.
Ma'am, miss po.
Ay, sorry.
I'm sorry, Miss. Okay, go ahead.
Maybe if I will give the topic of this picture, I will choose the poverty po.
What will you do with poverty? Actually, there's someone who answered me before I even asked that question. Okay, Mr. Kennedy mentioned government action to poverty. Very good. Okay, spread word and donation to help. Oh, very good. Okay, food scarcity getting worse. How government prevent food scarcity. Okay, so I think Sir Virgo will be very happy to hear your research proposals about food scarcity. Okay, just joking. Okay, let's have the last one. Okay, the last one is not a picture, but more of a situation. Okay, so I want you to tell. Oh, Mr. Pavo is also asking, raising his hand. Go ahead, Mr. Pavo.
Ma'am, nasagot na po nila kanina.
Ay, Okay, don't worry. There's another question that maybe you can share your answer. Okay, so this time it's a decision at stake. So that means to say it's a situation. Okay, let me read to you the situation. You were recently assigned as lead technical communicator on a team that is developing a high profile software known as SpeedQuest. You are responsible for coordinating communication between the programming team and the marketing team. Because this position is likely to result in a promotion and career advancement, you are eager to do a good job. One evening, you overhear the lead computer programmer tell the manager that SpeedQuest is not as advanced as advertised in the company's marketing materials. The programmer recommends delaying the launch date, but the project manager ignores the suggestion, deciding to issue a second release after the product is complete. The next day in the meeting to discuss the marketing materials, you struggle to decide whether you should list in the brochures the SpeedQuest features that do not work yet. You know that the features would help sales of SpeedQuest. On the other hand, you know that if you tell the truth and decide not to publish information about the features, you may not get the promotion you are counting on. What should you do? Okay. What do you think you should do in this particular situation? Okay, so this time I want to hear your response. Ah, I think I was not able to give chance to Mr. Pavo earlier. Maybe he has an answer this time. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Pavo. What will you do in this particular situation?
I don't have idea.
Don't worry, your idea will come in later. Okay, let's read first the answer of Mr. Kennedy. Okay, proposal of the strategies the team should make. Okay, that's a good backup solution. Okay, and then reveal the truth, whatever it takes. Yes. Okay, this is actually a problem that most of workers or employees experience in the workplace. This is what we call your dilemma. Okay, so what should you consider? Will you go for your promotion, or will you sabotage the reputation of the company, and then just go for what will do best for you? Okay, so in this particular question or situation, it now gives you a realization that yes, you are aware that there is communication for academic purpose or communication for work purpose. Eventually, we have to consider why we are human beings in the first place. So, what makes us different from what makes us different from animals? Of course, we have this ability to go and weigh our opinions. Are we hurting people? Are we already taking advantage of them? So I hope that if you go to your specific career fields, you always have to consider this option. Okay, will you go for your pride or for your reputation, or will you go for what is best for everyone? Okay, so this is something to leave you before we end this session, and I hope that you have also learned something in reference to our discussions. Okay, but before that one, I still have something. Okay, so food for thought. Okay, so you don't have to answer this. You may answer at the back of your head. Okay, opportunity kailangang ilabas para sa Pride of Future. Okay. So, how will you make use of your knowledge in purposive communication? So, this time, regardless of learning modality, why is communication for academic purpose important? Okay. And then second one, considering your profession in the future, how will learning communication for work purpose be beneficial? Okay. So though our time is not enough, I am not sure if I am required to give you a requirement, but somehow I hope that these two questions will allow you to ponder, to reflect on what really is the purpose of communication and how you will bring or how you will deliver your information to people. Okay, so I'll leave this decision to Sir Virgo if this will be given to you as a task, but let me just give one last. Okay, so, bonus task actually. Okay, if you were an instructor of purposive communication class, what kind of output or project will you require your students? Maybe I can already hear your answers before we end. Okay, now that you have already have a total grasp of what purposive communication is, if I were to ask you, combine all the things that you have learned in from your speakers, from your classes, okay, what kind of task will you require? Okay, I can see here essay, reflection paper, interview. Okay, you like writing. I like this. Okay, you like reflection paper or essay. So, Sir Virgo, they like reflection paper or essay. Just joking. Okay. So I can see here. Oh, I like this. From Mr. Neil, he mentioned a monologue or a skit. Why not? Okay. And then there's also mock press conference, a vlog. Yes, so thank you for allowing me to hear that the requirement earlier. So yes, a vlog, mock press conference. I like this idea very much. Thank you, Miss Jed. And then I also have video reflection. Wow. Okay, why not? And then I also just talking. Okay, I also have here role play, very good. Reflection or essay, okay. So with all of the responses that you have given me, actually I still have here 113 new messages, but I cannot read them all at the same time. But what I can say is I'm very happy that you are able to learn something from this class, and I hope that whatever you have learned, you will also carry this in real life. You know, walk that talk. Okay, so thank you very much, everyone, and I really enjoyed this sharing.
All right. So with that note, let's give Miss Jennifer a big round of applause as a showcase of our appreciation to her expertise and the time, of course, of sharing her knowledge and information about purposive communication. So just an announcement to our advisors, Mr. Rodlan and Mr. Raymar, if you're still here. Anyway, Mr. Ivan and Mr. Binse cannot attend. Sorry. So your task would be the activities or reflection, the reflection questions given by Ma'am Jennifer. All right. So it will be posted later on. So without much ado, let me now share my screen share for the certificate of appreciation to Ma'am Jennifer C. Palaganas for again being our resource speaker, this time talking about communication for various purposes among the freshman students via Zoom platform today, 6th day of December 2021. So once again, Ma'am Jennifer, taos-pusong pasasalamat sa pagiging isang napakabuting guro para sa pagbabahagi ng patuloy na pagpapalago ng ating mga mag-aaral. For them to be as better as we are, and who knows, like the best versions of themselves as speakers of the language later on in their careers. So let's give one another a heart sign, please. And we give you this time few seconds to take screenshot or screen cap of your attendance for today. May we invite Sir Rodlan and Mr. Raymar to open your camera for our photo op with Miss Jennifer. Sir Rodlan, are you still there? All right, for a while. Okay, so in the count of 3, everyone, you smile as well. I'm seeing Mr. Pavo in the screen or in the, yeah. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, smile. There you go. So once again, congratulations, everyone, and we would be seeing you again virtually soon. The midterm exam will be on Thursday, and then you would have your activities for the remaining schedule for this course. On that note, please enjoy your lunch, and Ma'am Jennifer, see you soon in Baguio City. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Happy lunch.
Okay, and so for a while, you may now all unmute and say your words to your classmates. Come on, for the last time.
Bye, sir. Thank you.
Bye, sir.
Bye, Virgo.
Thank you, sir.
Bye, sir.
Bye,
Sir.
Bye, sir. Thank you,
Bye,
sir.
sir.
Bye,
Bye,
Hey, Ramos. Bye, sir. Bye, sir. Bye, sir. Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Bye,
sir. Bye, sir.
Ay, bye, sir. Ang sarap ni Pabo.
Ramos, magpakita ka na.
Thank you, sir. Bye, bye.
Bye, sir. Sir, may reklamo po.
Bye, sir.
Sir, may
Bye, sir.
Sir, may reklamo po.
Yes, what
Sir,
is
may
it?
reklamo po ako. Ang sarap po ni Pabo.
Sir, seryoso po, may
Please
reklamo
take
po.
note that this is still recorded. Okay, quiet, everyone. This is still recorded. What is it? Who's talking?
Ulitin mo.
Anyway, I think
Sir, may reklamo po sa isa naming classmate sa Leyte.
okay. Let's. Okay. I cannot attend to your concerns now. Let's just talk via email. Bye, everyone.
Bye, sir.
Bye, sir.